Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and today we're talking about the latest release from Celluloid Dreams, a hyena in the safe. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, and today we're talking about a 1968 Italian film called A Hyena in the Safe. It's kind of like an early giallo mixed with the aftermath of a caper film, right? So this is the latest release from Celluloid Dreams. They've been specializing in doing these hard-to-find, underappreciated, undersung Italian films. They've already had two releases prior to this one. The first was The Case of the Bloody Iris, and the second was Short Night of Glass Dolls. These movies were freaking awesome, and I did reviews of them already. They're on the channel. I'll throw a link in the description below. But their third release is a movie I've never heard of, A Hyena in the Safe, right? And this movie is directed by Cesare Canevari. And I'm not familiar with this dude's work. I'm not familiar with this movie, but I am familiar with Celluloid Dreams. First of all, I got to give a big shout out to Celluloid Dreams because they're doing it right. They're taking their time with each one of these releases. They have tons of special features. They got lots of extra swag that you can get with the property or with the products when you purchase them on their website. And they're also just picking some really obscure, interesting movies that never would have been brought to my attention without Celluloid Dreams. And I got to give a major shout out for them for sending us this, A Hyena in the Safe. So what is this movie about? Well, it's a 1968 movie, and it's a little bit of a heist movie and a little bit of a giallo, right? It doesn't go into all of the trappings of your typical giallo. There's not somebody in a trench coat with a hat on, with a blade, stalking everybody, but it's an interesting spin on this genre that was pretty much in its early days at this time. So it's about these 6 individuals who meet up at a mansion 11 months after a diamond heist. So the diamonds have been kept in a safe in this really ludicrous mansion that's really cleverly shot throughout the movie, to be honest with you. So these individuals all show up. The diamonds are in a safe. Each of the individuals has a key. One of the individuals loses that key. They can't open the safe to get to the diamonds. Everybody starts accusing everybody of stealing the key or trying to manipulate another person out of their cut or something like that. And then all of a sudden, one of them turns up dead. Then another. And they all start going one by one. So it's your typical murder mystery, whodunit, all in one location, which is this mansion. It has elements of Clue because of the whodunit in one location type thing. It also has elements of Reservoir Dogs, where Reservoir Dogs is a heist movie about the aftermath of the heist and everybody's distrust of one another and their greed when they realize that maybe they could potentially get out with a larger cut. It's got elements of both of those films. Now, it is not in any way, shape, or form those films. And those films are not ripping this film off. There's just certain elements that work there. So let's break it down. The performances are pretty solid. Each of the characters is written very well. They all kind of represent a different archetype. They're all from a different country. There's a dude from France. There's a dude from Germany. There's a chick from Morocco. There's a chick from Italy. There's a dude from Spain. So it's interesting too how it's playing with some of the themes of distrust amongst European countries. So that's kind of interesting, right? I actually didn't even think about that until just now. I gotta think a little bit more about that. But all of the performances are pretty freaking solid. So this release only has the Italian soundtrack, but it does have a little bit of French, a little bit of German, a little bit of English, things like this. Most of these Italian films, they were filmed with no audio on the set, right? Think of it like a kung fu movie, right? A lot of the giallo and other Italian films we covered here on the channel, we explain why they dub these things because they know that they're preparing this for an international market. Now, I don't know if there is an English dub out there for this movie, maybe, but watching it in the original Italian, in the original language, I kind of do really like and appreciate that. So the dubbing does feel a little bit off, but the dubbing itself, the voice dubbing, is actually pretty solid, and I don't know if it's the actual actors doing it or different people. I'm sure some of the special features will dive more into that and to the commentary. We'll get to those special features a little bit later. But the characters, the way they emote, their expressions, they are exaggerated to the right level of exaggeration that you typically get in giallo films, right? So I loved the performances. I thought each character stood out. They had a visual identity, and they also had an archetypal identity that was incredibly solidly written and performed, at least visually. Even though the dub, I think, is really cool, there are moments where it's just slightly off, but that's just part of 1960s, 1970s Italian cinema, which is kind of a part that I find rather endearing and charming. The movie is chock full of style. It's got gliding camera movements. It's got wonderful use of colors. It even at times has a psychedelic vibe because of the use of the color and the use of the camera movement. Now, that's something that is very prevalent in Italian cinema at this time, and European cinema in general, is the moving camera having more of an art house kind of flair and approach to it, but it really helps elevate this movie's location because it is shot in one location. This crazy mansion, there's a pool with a plastic dome around it, there's an observatory, there's a big tower. It's kind of like castle-like at times, and there's so many different ways to shoot this thing, but it could also look visually boring when you got a bunch of people sitting around a room talking. And the way the camera moves, the angles, the perspectives that were chosen by the director and the cinematographer absolutely give it a life that I think it wouldn't have otherwise. Story-wise, it's pretty solid. It's a very simple premise. 6 people, crooks, come in to get the loot from their diamond heist 11 months ago. One dude's lost his key. One dude dies. Everybody starts going like flies. Who did it? What's going on? What's the ulterior motive? And there's interesting things thrown in there from the beginning. For instance, the dude who loses his key brings along his girlfriend. They're not supposed to be bringing anybody else to this meetup. He starts causing tension immediately. One of the dudes, the Spanish guy, isn't even the dude who participated in the heist. He allegedly got his key from a poker game from the actual guy who was part of the heist. So already tension is brewing, and it's building up throughout the course of the movie. There's a dude addicted to drugs. They pull his drugs away from him. He starts going crazy. It's really freaking neat, and it kept me guessing all the way through, even though there were elements that I could figure out towards the end of the film. It really kept me guessing and not really knowing what was going to come next. And the movie also has this weird tone, right? So there's moments where the movie has a very serious, deadly tone, and then moments where it has this almost whimsical, comedic, kind of crazy tone, especially with the music. The music is amazing. The music is not... There's so many Italian films, in particular, from this era that I will put on, and I'm like, this isn't the movie I cut my teeth on Italian giallo and horror cinema with like Fulci and Argento. So I'm always wanting like a Fabio Frizzi score or a Goblin score or something like that. And then you get something that's a little bit more 60s, a little bit more flary like that. And at first I'm like, well, I don't know. Nope. Totally fits the movie because these people gather at this mansion during Carnival or something like that. So there's a big party going on in the city, and it has this buoyant sense of fun, the music does, but then the music goes into creep mode and tension mode and suspense mode when it needs to. I think the music is absolutely brilliant. By the time I got to the end of the film, I was completely sold on it. I already told you that it kind of digs in on themes of distrust, paranoia, greed, crime. Does it pay? Does it not? What happens when you try to screw over those who you helped screw over a bank or something like that, right? Really interesting things that it's playing with. And then as I'm doing this video, thinking about the idea that they're all from a different country in Europe, and then of course Morocco, Like, that's insane to think that there's distrust on that, and I bet it's saying something about that. Maybe I should dive into some of these special features. Let's talk about them. In here, first of all, there is the case right there, the actual case. This is a cool slip case that you will only get if you order it from Celluloid Dreams. And what I love about their simple slip cases is they ship them flat. So you don't have that annoying thing, you know, when you buy a movie from Amazon, sometimes it gets dinged up in the mail or in the truck or something like that. These are pristinely, just perfectly shipped, and they're shipped flat. Then you got the disc itself. It's in there. This is just a Blu-ray disc. The other releases had 4K discs as well, but this one is just a Blu-ray release. It's got a reversible slip for the actual case of the movie, which has the Italian title right there. It's got information about the restoration. The restoration looks absolutely stellar. That is something that Celluloid Dreams really takes their time with to make sure these movies look really good. Now, I've never seen this movie before, and I don't know if it has a previous physical release, maybe on VHS or maybe DVD or something like that. I don't know. Somebody in the comments could let me know. I'm sure they'll let you know on the special features here. I didn't have time to dive into all the special features, but I really, really wanted to. Let's see what we've got here. We got a commentary track from Guido Hinkle. We got a interview featurette called 7 Guests for a Massacre with members of the cast and the director. It's like almost an hour long, I think. I started watching that one. Schrodinger's Diamonds, The Duplicitous Mystery of a Hyena in the Safe, which is a video essay by Andy Marshall Roberts. It's got a featurette about the mysteries of Villa Toplitz, which I think is where they filmed the movie at, so that's pretty cool, and a theatrical trailer. I loved it. So you get this, and if you order from Celluloid Dreams, you get the slipcase. The slipcase has the Italian title and the American title right there, the English title, I should say, and you also get these awesome lobby cards. This is something that Celluloid Dreams has been packaging with all of their releases so far, in particular if you order them from the website. So these are the lobby cards. These are scenes from the movie. You can see how colorful the movie is, some of the characters. This dude right there, that's the dude who doesn't have his key. He's wearing like Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat right there. That's pretty freaking awesome. Now I want to watch that. But I'm going to finish showing off these awesome lobby cards. I am quite a fan of lobby cards. I used to collect them back in my early 20s. Not original ones, but like reproductions. I have some Psycho ones in particular that I need to get framed and hung up in the house. I've bought them like decades ago and I still have never framed them, put them in my house. But I love things like this, and this shows you the color of the movie, that 60s psychedelic, colorful vibe. It shows you this rich cast of characters. I had a lot of fun with this movie. Overall, I really enjoyed it, and without Celluloid Dreams, I may have never have heard about this movie, Hyena in a Safe, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. These are 3 movies that they have released so far that I had never seen, and I love. Seriously, I love Italian cinema, and there's so much more for me to dive into. I'm still kind of basically in the shallow end. Companies like Celluloid Dreams are helping us learn more about international cinema and some of the lesser-known, quirkier, more offbeat, but more bold and daring movies out there. I loved it. Out of 5 ya digs, I would give the movie 4 out of 5. I thought it was incredibly strong, very interesting characters, a great premise, and the ending, absolutely fantastic. So, I liked it. Check it out. There's a link to check it out over at the Celluloid Dreams website in the description below. That's where you want to get it if you want the slipcase and the lobby cards. Otherwise, just check out the movie. I think it's worth watching. Anyway, thank you so much for checking out the video. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And join us over at patreon.com/PCP if you want to help support the channel. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Station. Pop, pop, boom.